Senator Troy Joseph, a number of things on the agenda there, but no one discussed them necessarily in the order that they're printed. The gun issue that I marked down there in light of the murder of that young man in the Heights and the murder-suicide, which might be in a kind of a different species. But nevertheless, it is another instance of gun violence, and I think we're in for another, in the near future, at least in the summer, we could be in for several more instances of this. In light of these increase in violence, seems to be an increase anyway in the city. I had urged before that when I addressed council in a previous meeting, I don't know what it was, about gun buybacks, you know, as a way to get guns off the street. And I don't assume be much objection even from the NRA on that. Maybe the mayor or somebody from council could, Mr. Barrett, since you're an ex-police chief, maybe you know how to get that started. If you see that as a viable way to lessen the probability of gun violence, especially with the summer we're facing with kids, more kids on the street, etc. Generally speaking, an uptick in crime in the summer. If that's a possible way to do that, then maybe we can have some action on that. The gentleman who addressed the problem of gun violence before me, I didn't catch all that, but I felt that was one solution I should put out there. The other couple issues, one also the intermobile, which I don't like to let go, Mr. McCormick, I'm sorry. Mr. Henry or Mr. McCormick, maybe you can address after I'm done, whether or not the issue of change orders, of the increase in change orders, or the drastic increase in the cost of that project, which seemed to me, it seemed to me that the city was getting the raw end of the deal. It was really from some of these contractors and subcontractors. I never really got a straight answer as to whether or not the city pursued any litigation in this against some of those people. Now, I know there's some reluctance, perhaps, on the part of the city to do that because maybe there's some friendliness there to some of these contractors that, for instance, Sordoni, etc. Maybe that there's some reluctance on the city's part to initiate that. But I just wonder if there has been any action in that direction, or if there is any forthcoming. Because I think it was a disgrace that project went up from $12 million to $30 million, and now we're on the verge of perhaps leasing that to a private entity. The other thing I have on there, in the time remaining, I would just like to promote an idea here, which Frank Sorick and some others are interested in, and I wonder what council people might think of it. It seems to me that the three linchpins of a good democratic government are transparency, accountability to, of course, the people who elect the officials, and integrity. And if, I think most of the people in the assembly here tonight would agree that, not saying everybody here would have low ratings, but most of you here in those three categories, because of the way the city functions, including the mayor, with the strong mayor government that we have, you get low, if not failing grades on all three. In light of that fact, I would hope to promote a concept known as a Citizens Advisory Board, and I'm going to press Frank and others in the taxpayers group to promote this idea. And I wanted to know what people, if you have any comment about it, since you refuse to expand the amount of time for citizens input in meetings like this, and you refuse to let people speak in the work sessions, which are important because this is where all these legislation and resolutions are put together, and you give a scant couple of seconds for people to comment on them in the meetings on Thursday night. Have a Citizens Advisory Group here made up of one Democrat, one Republican, and one Independent at least, to sit here with you people at the work sessions and council sessions and to comment and question freely and openly as to basically what's going on here. Now, I think that's as good of a and I don't know to what extent this has been tried in other municipalities, but I'm sure it has. And I think that this is the problem here is that we have so little transparency and so little accountability. Integrity might be another issue, but that's certainly related to the other two. That this is an idea I think whose time has come. And it might be in kind of a raw form here, and it may need some twisting and turning and some amending, but I think three people or more to be elected by their peers in an election, in the general election or primary or whatever. And for you people, I think, have to accept this idea. And I think to have people sit here and to actually get more into the flow of government and to at least increase the transparency of what's going on here is something that has to happen for the people to become more in touch in terms of what's going on in their government. That's all I have to say right now. I don't know if anybody has any comments on that.
If I may, your ideas all have merit. I'm going to tell you, each and every one of us are very, very accessible. Like, we're all published numbers, email addresses. A lot goes on here, but a lot goes on interaction between us and residents of the city on a daily basis. And we welcome that. And feel free to call any one of us at any time. And we're very easy to reach. They were published recently in the newspaper.
I can't get a hold of my council person now, Mrs. LaBelle.
Well, why can't you? When have you ever tried, Mr. Troy? When have you ever tried, Mr. Troy? Because my number was published, you assumed. Well, that you assumed
you
wrong.
have to try, just try. Call any one of us. If you can't get a hold of anybody for any reason.
What would you say if I did?
All right, we're not going to go back and forth. That was the only comment I had. Thank you, Mr. Troy.